I'm convinced that every single one of us has a little voice in our heads that's feeding us commentary on just about everything we do. For some people, that voice is naturally positive, encouraging, and wonderful. And if that's you, congrats, go watch something else. For the rest of us, that voice can be more than just a little critic, right? It can be a negative tape playing on repeat constantly. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to silence it. But first, hi. My name's Corey, and I'm an ordained minister, church planter, and pastor of RedeemerOnline.Church. And it's my mission to help you understand and practice the Christian faith, especially if you don't go to church right now. And if that's something you're interested in, hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell, because that's gonna let you know whenever we put out new videos, and it's gonna let us know that you're here. And let me tell you, I'm so glad that you're here. All right, silencing that inner voice. I don't know what your voice sounds like, but I'll tell you, when I let mine go unchecked, it's told me all sorts of things that impact how I think and feel about myself, how I accomplish or don't accomplish tasks, how I approach my work, my effectiveness as a dad, my attractiveness as a husband, and my value as a human being in general in the world. Now, I think there are three places that my negative voice comes from. See if any of these fit for you. The first is the past experience. Maybe you've tried something in the past and it didn't work. Maybe you've made a mistake and now your inner critic has told you that that mistake that you made was due to a permanent, all-pervasive flaw that you can't do a single thing about. It's here to stay and you can't fix it. You see, your past experience can become fuel for your ongoing negative voice. The second place is other people. Maybe the voice in your head is fueled by your own personal comment section. Enough said? Look, sometimes people say stuff they shouldn't. Sometimes people don't say stuff that they should. And it turns out sticks and stones don't have nearly the lasting impact as words from other people do. The stuff people have said or left unsaid can have a dramatic effect on our inner monologues. The last one is that your inner monologue simply comes from your biological bend toward anxiety. Anxiety is just your body's alarm system designed to help prevent future catastrophe. But look, if you're not careful, your inner monologue is going to be fed by anxious, negative thought fuel all the time. It's not trying to be unkind, it's trying to prevent a potential nuclear disaster. But sometimes that alarm system isn't properly calibrated. It's not even processing accurate information. And so, along with the other two sources, it can feed that inner critic between your ears. And listen, I'm betting that if you and I sat down across from each other and you felt safe enough to share honestly, you'd probably tell me the same thing I'd tell you at times. The voice in my head is stealing my soul. Now, I think it's incredibly important to point out that the negative thought loop does have a few different sources, because most of the time, we don't really think about our thought life like that, right? As author John Acuff once said, we think of our thoughts as happening to us, not something we can hone. But the truth is, what's influencing your thought life, be it past experience or people or preventing future catastrophe, whatever or whoever that is, they're shepherding your soul. There's this moment recorded in the Gospel of John where Jesus makes this incredibly relevant claim. He's in the middle of an argument with some of his contemporaries, some fellow religious leaders. And he says, "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep. So when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf attacks the flock and scatters it. The man runs away because he's a hired hand and he cares nothing for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep and my sheep know me, just as the Father knows me and I know the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that are not of this sheep pen. I must bring them in also. They too will listen to my voice, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd. The reason my Father loves me is that I lay down my life, only to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down and authority to take it up again. This command I received from my Father." Now, this is a direct criticism of the ability of his contemporaries, the other religious leaders. He's criticizing their ability to shepherd the people spiritually. And he's got three reasons that he claims to be a better shepherd. The first is that he's committed. Unlike so many others in his day, he's not in it for himself. He's not a hired hand. He's not going to take off the minute this venture no longer serves his financial or social or political interests. He'll stare down the wolves. He'll put himself between attackers and his sheep. He's not in it for the money. There's something greater keeping him here. It's about the sheep. He loves his sheep. He knows his sheep. He's a better shepherd because he's committed to them. The second reason he claims to be a better shepherd is because he's got a wider scope. His plan includes sheep from other sheep pens. This isn't about one religious system. This isn't about one ethnicity. It's not about one class or one people group. This is about everyone, everywhere. It's about whoever hears his voice and responds. He's a better shepherd because he's welcoming all sheep who will respond to his voice. And lastly, he's a better shepherd because he's willing to give his life for his sheep. And this one, he doesn't just say makes him better. This one, he says, is why he's God's chosen shepherd for people. Now listen, this scripture comes from the Gospel of John, the disciple of Jesus. And he helped start a bunch of churches in the first century. And one of the conflicts that they had gotten embroiled in those communities was around who should be in charge, who should speak for God, who should lead, who should shepherd these sheep. And the authors of this gospel are wanting to persuade people here that Jesus should be the only and ultimate shepherd for their souls. Why? Because he's committed. He stood between us and the wolves. He welcomed any sheep from any pen who would follow his voice, and he willingly gave his life for them. So, how do you stop that voice in your head from stealing your soul? You get a better shepherd. You get the kind who's committed to you, no matter what wolves may come. The kind who's calling you, inviting you, regardless of your religious or ethnic or class background. And the kind who thought you were worth dying for. That's something I'm aiming for in my life right now. It turns out, while my thoughts may feel like something that happened to me, they can be honed over time. It's a bit of a feedback loop. What I think about impacts what I do, which impacts what I think about, which impacts what I do. So I'm trying to meditate on the person and words of Jesus, taking some time each day to just pause, spend time with him spiritually. Let his words, let his character, let his presence just sink deep within me. Get to know his voice. Not because I think it'll make me a better Christian or to get saved, but because I know, for one, it's the path to silencing that voice in my head and following a better shepherd for my soul. That's it for this one. Click like if you liked it. Click subscribe if you want more like it. And if you want to get in touch, join the email list. You can do that by clicking the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.